Hello there everyone, welcome to another programming tutorial. Today we're going to make a sample application using Windows UI elements, reading, writing to a file, and the Windows control list. So let's open up Delphi and get started. We're going to continue with the last project from the previous video, but if you didn't watch that, you can just click this create new Windows VCL application. We're going to start fresh anyways. So let's open it up. So we're going to delete all these components since we don't need them, and we don't have any code, so we don't need to delete anything from here. These need to be deleted since we don't have a purpose for them. So let's begin. I'm going to first add some panels so they can delimit the application in more sections. So let's see. I'm going to hide the caption on this one, and the border we're going to disable it like that. Actually, we're going to give it a flat border so it looks nicer. So you want to have 3 of this, so we can just right click, control copy, control V, and then actually no, 4 panels. This one is going to be aligned like this. This one, actually I'm going to select this, and move it in this panel. This one is going to be aligned like that. This one again, client, and this one is going to be at the top, right here. Alright. We're going to disable the border on this, like that. Or actually flat, and this one, none, like that. I think this looks pretty nice. So, first up, we need to create the control list, which is going to be this one. We're going to align this as client. We're going to add a label, but we're moving it inside the panel. Align it at the top. Put like 18 as the font. Disable auto size. And use Segoa UI. Like this. Now, the reason we chose this is so you can have a title for the application, like app name here. Let's name it awesome text editor. So we're going to turn on word wrap so we can see the title, and we're going to add another one of these here like that, but we're going to set the alignment to client. And the layout, we're going to center it like that. So now we should have a label, a control list, and another panel with nothing in it. So that's why we're going to add a memo. We're going to align this to the client, and let's search for scroll bars. We're going to enable the vertical scroll bar like that. And this we're going to change to name of file like that. So now we are going to add some components in this control list. First off, a label, and we're going to change the height of the items, like 40 should be alright. We're going to align this to the left, change the layout to center, enable margins, and the font, we're going to increase its size to like 14. So actually no, 12 should be nice. And now if you run the application, we should have this interface like this, text, name of file, and a blank space here. So now for the actual coding part of this, we need to somehow make this a list of available files and make them editable in this box. Jesus Christ, why is this so complicated? Ugh, terrible idea. Let's go on. So, we're going to start adding some variables, like file list, and we're going to set a TRA string, like this. Next up, we're going to add some procedures so we can sync the application, like add sync file list. And we're also going to add another one, which would be add new file, and we're going to add file name string. And we need to create a working directory, so we're going to set this as a constant work there. Let's say /files. So now if we open the folder, actually I'm just gonna click here and see, we show an Explorer. If you go to Win32 debug, we can see we have the exe file, all these DCU files. We can delete those, they're just caches, and no folder. We need the program to create the folder for us. So in the form, we're going to select the onCreate and double click here and say if not file exists, work there. Actually, we should be able to use the IOUtils library, which has the same functions. If not, the directory.exists, work there, then tDirectory.create, work there, like that. Work directory. So now if you run the application and open the folder, we can see we have a files folder right here. So next up, we're going to say when the application starts, this is basically the form create, we're going to say sync file list, like this. And we also need to make this procedure work. So we're going to add tDirectory dot get files work there, like this. And we have the file list, so we can just attribute the file list to the work directory list. Let's just sync file list like this. And in the new add new file function, we need to create a new file for this. So we're going to add a variable called file name, and we're going to make this a string. File name fname, and we're going to set this to work directory. And as you can see, we didn't add a slash here. So what we can do, because sometimes we cannot define the work directory as a constant and it needs to be changed, we can just say include trailing backslash. And now this function will add this slash automatically to the path. And when I say plus file name, like this. So we can just say, actually we need a .txt extension. So we're going to say tfile dot create fname, and we're going to add the sync file list at the end. You can also add some comments like syncs file list or create file. These are helpful for knowing which function does what. Creates work directory. Alright, so in the sync file list, we also need to set the control list. We're going to copy its name, control list 1, and we're going to say the count of all the items in the control list is equals to the length of the file count, basically, because as this is an array, length will give us how many items are in this array, and we're going to set the length of the control list to the same thing. And now in the control list, this is labeled 3. We can rename it to like item name. I'm going to say on before draw item name will become, we're going to take the file list array and we're going to get the item of the index like this. Item name dot caption, and we're going to add that's weird, extract file name only. Extract file name. Like this. So we also need to add something to create a file for us, because if we run this, we can see that there are no files, nothing will happen. So we're going to add a button, like a speed button. We're going to align it at the bottom, and we're going to change its glyph. If you don't have images, you can just not add one, but personally I like to add this because they look better. I'm going to choose the plus one. Oh, it's a bit too big. I'll choose then like 20 by 20 plus. And we're going to set the caption and the font size to 10. And caption, add new file. So here we're going to add a variable called file name string, and we're going to run the input query function. And we're going to say create new file as the caption. After that, we're going to add enter file name. This basically will be before you can input the text, and we're going to give the file name. And this function returns a Boolean value, so we're going to say if input query. This is basically if the user actually inputted text and did not press the cancel button. And if this happened, this file name variable will be changed. So we can just run the, where is it? Add new file. Oh, and then add new file, file name. Let's test this out. Great file. We have the great file, but we also have a .txt thing. We did not want that, so let's see if I can remove that. To fix this, we're going to have to remove the extension by ourselves. So we can create a function for this, like function remove file extension, file name string, result string. So here we're going to add a variable. Let's call it p, and we're going to set p to the file name in last index of dot. And if p is different than 0, then the result will be copy file name, and we're going to add p as the index -1 and the length file name, else result file name. Let's see if this works. Where is it? Here. Extract, remove file extension. Oh, we forgot to remove something. Oh, so we're going to say 0, and instead of length file name, p -1. Or just p. Like this. So now we have great file. And we can add another one, amazing file. No, example file. Example file. Okay, and we can see it's right here. So now we want to be able to modify the files. So we're going to set here on double click item double click. When this happens, we're going to say control list. This is the index of the file selected, and we want a file name. Or actually no, a file path. So we're going to say file path equals work there backslash plus the file name, which should be file list at the index of the control list plus txt. Actually, no, we don't need the plus txt, just this. And we're going to say memo1, which is the name of this, dot load lines, load from file path. And let's add a comment here. So now if I open the example file and like hello world test, this is a test. Now if I run this and click the example file, oh, I see the issue. We have to remove the work there, factory. Great file. No, example file. There it is. So now we're going to add a variable called changes made, which is a boolean. So when we open a new file, we want the changes made to be false. But if we add the changes, if the change made is true, we need to tell the user to save their progress. And we're going to add a input dialog. A message DLG. And we're going to say do saved. Do you want to save your changes? And buttons, we're going to say MB OK, and mouse button no, and mouse button yes. Also, we need to add a 0 here. And we're going to set this like a case, because this returns an integer value. And we're going to say, if the model result is yes, then save changes. Oh, we need to add the empty confirmation, then a 0. Let me see this. Oh, dialog then. So this empty confirmation needs to be before the buttons, like this, I think. Oh, and I'm gonna remove this. So we don't have a save changes function yet, so we're going to need to add that. And if the answer is no, we don't need to add anything. It will just continue loading the file. But if the result is cancel, then we need to exit from this function. So the code here will no longer run. And we need to add a save changes procedure. Like that. So now we need to add a few things so the save changes function will work. Currently, the file path is a variable here. So we're going to take this, delete the variable, and place it here. And at the save changes, we're going to say if file path equals nothing, then exit, because sometimes that could happen, like when the program has no open file. And we're going to add oh, I'm missing an equals here. Yeah. So we're going to say memo1 lines dot save to file path. So now if we open this test 1 2 3 4 5, we're going to open another file. Oh, we forgot to add the handling for changes. So in the on change, we're going to say changes made equals true. And I think this may be it. Let's see. Everything seems to work. So let's try this out. I can switch between these, and now if I add 1 2 3 4 5 and change, if I say no, the changes are not here. If I say 1 2 3 4 5 and say yes, you can see the changes are right there. Now we want to add a way for the user to be able to save the changes manually. So we're going to add where is it? Menu, main menu. Here we're going to say file, and we're going to also say like edit. Here we're going to add a new one called exit, since all apps have that. So we're going to say self.close. We're going to add another one called save changes, or just save. And we're going to set a shortcut, Control+S. And here we're going to set Alt F4. Alright. So here we're going to say save changes. And let's say this one is disabled. So, and let's also disable this. Alright. So now we can't click this. We can't, or we can. Save disable, like that. So this is called the save changes one. So in the function where we load the file, we're going to say save changes enabled. Because if you don't have a file open yet, there's no point in being able to save, and there's no point in being able to edit. So now if you run this, and let's say open this, oh, true. We can open this file, we can edit it. Hello, we're going to save another file. And we can see all this works. We also need to add in the save changes function changes made equals false because we just saved. So already our program looks pretty nice. It works pretty well. We also need to change the name of the file, so let's change that. We're going to say name of file, and in this, on the double click, we're going to open this, and we're going to say the same thing as here, extract file name, and also the function we made called remove file extension, and we're going to say the caption. So now if we open this, we can see the names are all the way here, and we can see, oh, that's interesting. Weird. Let's check the add new file function. File, let's say write all text and nothing in it. Also, let's change this to be blank. All right. So I think now it should work. Yeah, it works now. Also, currently we cannot delete the files, which is an important feature. So let's add a context menu and a pop-up menu. So in this pop-up menu, we're going to say delete and open. And we're going to make this default. So now on double click, we're going to copy the name, and the open one will just say control list. Actually, we're going to say if control list one items, no, count, item count is bigger than 0, then we're going to run this function and give it itself as parameter. All right, and this delete one, we're going to also copy this Then we're also going to need actually no, we're going to say tfile.delete, and we're going to say file list. Control list 1 index. And after this, we also want to sync file list, so if anything changes, we need to know about it. So let's try this out. If I right click, oh, we forgot to add the right click. So in the control list, we're going to scroll down all the way to pop-up menu and select pop-up menu 1, which is the name of this one. And now if we run, I don't know what that was. If I right click this, something doesn't appear to work. Oh, I know. We have to have an item selected. We're going to change this. If control list index is different than -1, and this one will have the same thing, like that. So now we're going to select this one, right click, open, open, open. A numbers file, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to save that. So you can see there are the numbers. And another new file, like that. So I want to delete this. I'm going to right click, delete, and it's gone. Right click, delete, great file, delete this as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, delete this as well. It's all functioning. So we still need to fix an issue. Like if I create a new file like that, and let's say I open it, content. I have a new file. If I delete it, the file is still here, which doesn't make a lot of sense. So we need to delete it for good. And we're going to just say here in the file path, we're going to also add a file index, which will be an integer. Or no, we're going to keep the file path, which, if I remember, is just the file list. And we need to make a new function called close file. Close file. Let's say close open file. So here we're going to disable the memo. We're going to disable the save menu. Now let's see how it was named. It's named save changes 1. Save changes 1 enabled equals false. And we're also going to clear the memo. Clear. So all data in it will be deleted. So if we delete a file, we're going to also add a handle for that. We're going to create a variable called file name string, and we're going to say file name is equal to this, And here you're going to say delete file name. And if file name equals close equals file path, then we're going to run the close open file procedure like that. So let's test this out. Great file. I am a great file. So let's delete this and see. This closes itself. We cannot click save, but if we open a new file, we can save, we can edit. So also let's add something to the edit menu. We're going to copy this, or just control copy, and here we're going to paste it. No, wait. Delete. Let's test this out. File 1, 2, 3. I'm going to select this, edit, delete. Let's see. Oh, I see. I'm going to say on click delete one.click. No, without. So I'm going to select file 1, 2, 3, edit, delete. And that was all you needed to do to create a file editor. This is a very basic file editor. It's not the best, but it functions as it should. It shouldn't give errors unless you mess with the files. So one example is, let's see, I create a new file. And I have like content in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If, for example, I delete the file from here and I try to open it, it's going to give me an error. Or when I try to delete it, also going to give me an error. So to fix this, we should be able to just say if tfile.exist file name, then delete it. And here in the on item double click, we're going to say after if not tfile.exist file path, then begin end. We're going to say close open file and exit. So let's try this out. I'm going to add a new file, great file. So if I select great file, delete it, and I open it, pretty much nothing happens. Let's add other sync files. And we could also tell the users with a message dialog that the file does not exist. We could, no, the file no longer exists. Try creating a new one. City information. Empty information, and be OK, and a 0 at the end. So now if we run this, I added 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4. So I'm going to delete the file, delete. The file no longer exists. Try creating a new one. Just perfect. So that's all I had for this video. Hope you find the information I provided helpful. And if you have any questions or something didn't work for you, just tell me in the comments. I'll be happy to respond. Well, this was everything for this video, and I guess I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.